I need to close this. I don't want to see me. Hi y'all, this is Jace. She, they, and newfound Jace Reads Romance, a community dedicated to empowering women about sex and sexuality through the reading of romance novels. Welcome back to another week of What I Read. This is for May 5th through May 11th. I read 3 books, 2 ebooks, and 1 physical book. So for me, that's a pretty light reading week, and that's okay. It happens. Make sure you have your emotional support beverage. Mine is tea today. Get your comfy sexy on. I am in my sweatshirt material cardigan, sweatpants that you are not allowed to see. They are too gross. And get ready for what I read. The first book I read was Keep Her Safe by QB Tyler. This was my first QB Tyler book, and she was at Wild and Windy, plus a few other conferences that I'm going to. This is a bodyguard reimagining. She says at the beginning of the book, this is for everyone who wanted Whitney and Kevin to be together at the end of The Bodyguard. So that should set up quite a bit for you. The characters are Shay and Damian. Shay is a TV star and Damian has been her bodyguard for 5 years. They've never been together. He's much older than her, but they've both been pining for the other as the years have gone by. Shay has been in a relationship with another actor for the last few years, and at the beginning of this book discovers that he's cheating on her. In fact, walks in on him cheating on her. So, quite a great surprise. Damian is right there with her, helps her get out of the situation, get back home, and deal with the aftermath. Shay and her ex's team don't want to announce their breakup because she has a lot of clout. She's in TV. She wants to move to movies. He's recently done a project that's been getting a lot of accolades, and so them going to awards season and being together publicly is still very beneficial for their relationship. While she's dealing with the demise of this breakup, she's also around Damian. He is the person she secretly pined for. She has made moves on him in the past, but she's always been rebuffed. Damian is very conscious about their age gap, very conscious about the uneven power dynamic that has existed in their relationship, and has kept his distance even though he's been pining for her for years, watching her from afar. And people in their life joke that Damian's in love with her and he cares and is a little too overprotective for just a bodyguard. But because she's been in this relationship, there's been that buffer between the two of them. It's allowed them both to keep that level of professionalism that they don't really want. There's a bit of romantic suspense in this book as well. Shay has a stalker who is sending her threatening letters, who seems to have access to where she lives, is putting them in places that no one should be allowed into. And the story includes, who is this person? Are they a threat? What level of security do we really need? There's also the back and forth between the ex-boyfriend, people that she's friends with who are trying to both rally around her but also seem to not have her best interest at heart. Very quickly, I will say that this is not a slow burn. Very quickly, Damian and Shay give in to these feelings and this attraction that's been building for the last 5 years. I'm put this at a 3.75 on the spice scale, which means it's moving closer to that more spice than plot. It really does. Once it starts, it's really all about the spice. And if that's not for you, that's fine. And it was odd for me. It sounds like there's so much other stuff happening. Oh, the suspense. Oh, the this, the that. There's just so much spice. It's so spicy. And that's not a deterrent, wasn't a deterrent for me. But I should warn you, this isn't a 1 or 2 scene book. This is a pretty darn constantly book. I love Damian. I thought he was so wonderful. Because Shay was in a relationship for so long, they were able to build a rapport with that barrier, with that this isn't an option there. And so once they get together, they know each other pretty well. Maybe not all of Damian's history, he's pretty private, but they know each other as people. And so once they let themselves date, they're all in hard, fast and hard. QB Tyler loves a good daddy, so Shay Shay has a few daddy moments with Damian. If that is not for you, I should warn you. Some people don't like that. It's not kinky in a daddy little situation. She just calls him daddy. In your hierarchy of what does it mean and do I like that, I'm giving you all the information that you need. The suspense part was fun. The plot was compelling. The spice was good. I don't mind an age gap personally. This isn't even though she's young, this isn't a college student and an adult. This is someone living as an adult and a person who's very aware of their life. They've been around each other for the last 5 years. Since she was 18, I believe she's 23 now. So while again, she's still young, it doesn't feel creepy. It doesn't feel groomy. It doesn't feel like so many other age gaps can feel. It makes sense to me, partially because they've had this other relationship. And you might not love a employee boss situation. That's a totally other thing. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. This was my first QB Tyler, as I said. She likes the taboo relationships, and I'm not always a fan of those, so I might pick and choose which ones work for me. To the notes. The age gap's only 12 years. It's not that big. Here's an example of what Shay's friends say about Damian. He looks at you like you're his reason for breathing. And that's why he'd take a bullet for you, not because of what you pay him. They haven't even gotten together at this point. If this is your philosophy and you can make it happen, good for you. Damian, a woman needs to come every time. My heart picks up speed again listening to him talk about a woman's climax. Preferably before I do, he shrugs. And after. If you can make it happen, that's great. This isn't my thing, but maybe this is your thing. This is from Shay's perspective. He pulls a baseball hat onto his head, opting to leave it forward. Thank God. A man in a backwards hat is my fucking weakness. Damian in a backwards hat? I might faint. If you like it when a man takes her panties as a souvenir. There's so much about what they like in this book, and I love it. Damian says there's something about a woman's hand in my hair that drives me insane. Oh, try humping. And very early, so this is inappropriate. This is not safe for work. Not that you would think anything I do is safe for work. But Damian, the way your pussy just gripped my cock, you'll never marry anyone else. It gets real serious real fast. My note, bath sex sucks. And my note for the yes daddy, oh my God, I'm coming is whoa. We come from two different worlds, and even though I'd burn mine to the ground for her, I couldn't ask her to do the same. But I would crawl to her through the wreckage if only she asked. So much love for her. It was good. Super spicy. Bit of taboo, and enough plot to keep me interested. The plot wasn't the spice, but there was so much spice that it almost overtook the plot. Probably won't be my last QB Tyler. If you've read anything by her, let me know in the comments so I know what to pick up next. The next book was Runaway Love by Melanie Harlow. This is my first Melanie Harlow book. It is in fact actually an entire week of new to me authors. This is a small town story. I think the whole series is small town. I'm not sure. This is just the first book of hers that I've read in this series. Sprayed edges, super cute. And that's it. This is a super cute book. There's nothing terribly suspensey, which is good for how much drama there was in Keep Her Safe and in the next book that I read. This was a really great palate cleanser. Roni is the FMC. She is engaged to a douche canoe. I don't remember what his name is. It doesn't matter what his name is. She and he are getting married in this tiny little town, and the morning of her wedding, he accidentally sexts her instead of his mistress, who is also his secretary. So she finds out that he's been sleeping with his secretary the morning of her wedding. She tries to break off the wedding. He insists, his family insists, they're also incredibly wealthy. She is not. She was raised by a single mom, and her mother has passed. So she goes down the aisle, doesn't marry him, says, I don't. And when he tries to stop her from leaving, she high kicks him in the face because she was a rockette. That's what she was doing before they got together, and he insisted she move to Chicago, where he's from. Anyway, she leaves the church in her wedding dress and shows up at a diner where she is weeping because her wedding just did not happen. She found out all these things and she realized how isolated she's been and her ex has made her. Austin is the MMC and he is a single dad. His baby mama lives out in California. She was a one-night stand, and he's been raising his twins ever since. For the summer, his younger sister was supposed to help him with childcare, but she just got an opportunity to be on an archaeological dig and needs to leave. So he is looking for a nanny, someone to live with him, to take care of the kids, help around in the summer. In the diner, Roni meets the little sister, and little sister says, "Oh, you should come interview to be the nanny. What have you got to lose? Sounds great. We need you tomorrow, and you need something tomorrow." So she shows up in her wedding dress. And the interview goes poorly. She's very sweet, she's very kind, and Austin is quite a grump. So there's the grumpy sunshine of that. There's a tiny bit of an age gap. Not much. She's in her early 20s. I think he's maybe 30-ish. He's probably 30-ish. I don't even think it's 10 years. It might be 10 years. Let's see when I look through my notes. She comes back after realizing she has no credit card. She's been kicked out of the hotel. Her ex has cut off her phone. He really controlled everything about her. It was a bad situation, and I'm so glad that she's free of it. And so she comes back just to say thank you, and he ends up hiring her. Of course he does. He hires her to be the nanny. And part of the reason he was so grumpy to her is not only the hot mess that she looked, because she's in a wedding dress when she showed up, but also his deep attraction to her. And he's very uncomfortable with that. He's been single for a very long time. He hasn't dated. He's been focusing on his children. He has the business of his dad's that he works at that he doesn't really love. And then he has a side hustle making beautiful wooden furniture that he does love, but he feels like he can't pursue because then he'd be abandoning his dad. He has a lot of baggage. And anyway, she becomes the nanny. A summer of love ensues. The tension between them is tensioning. She's a terrible cook, which is a pretty funny storyline. She's a truly atrocious cook. But she works hard, and the kids like her, and she's very kind and very attentive, and she gets things done, minus the cooking. And they build a rapport over the summer, over this time together, during this time together. Their sexual chemistry and their sexual tension builds, and on the week that the kids go to visit their mom in the middle of the summer, the tension explodes. And they finally give in to it, and then they say, no, we cannot, and then yes, and then this and then that. It's very quick. It's very easy. There's some groveling at the end if you're into the groveling. This just helped my brain reset after the drama that was Keep Her Safe, and during the drama that was the other book that I read this week. So let's just go to the notes. I appreciate a map, but maps and I don't get along. I'm not able to follow maps, whether it's small town or fantasy. I got it highlighted very little. Ooh, gray sweatpants. Do you love gray sweatpants? I don't. I don't love gray sweatpants. I know gray sweatpants make things look good, but gray sweatpants to me say you're lazy. They just had a bit of a makeout session, and now Austin is feeling a bit guilty about it, and Roni's sassy comeback is, "You felt sorry for me?" She leaned forward. Her gaze traveled downward toward my lap. "Is that what that was against my stomach?" And my note is, burn! Slow burn. 3 kisses to get here. So there are a lot of kisses and then no, and then kisses and then no. "Why are you here? Isn't it obvious?" One hand moved down the back of my panties, his fingers grabbing my ass, kneading hard. "I want to hear it." "Fine. I'm here to fuck you. Want me to narrate it too?" Yes. He does talk her through it. So after the sex, my note is, "At least you apologized." And she says, "I appreciate that you want to be respectful of me, but I'm a big girl." "You are. But there's something about you that makes me feel protective. I can't help it. Sorry if that's toxic male patriarchy or something." He's aware of it. He's aware that he's a little bit protective and controlling and stubborn. She's about to give him a blowjob. She says, "Before I do this, I want to make something clear. I'll give you a warning." And my note is cute. "That's not what I meant." I stroked my lips with the tip like it was my lipstick, coating them with his salty taste. "I meant, I want it clear that you are not allowed to hold back." His hands moved into my hair. Jesus. So my only problem is, during this blowjob, she engages in a little bit of penetration herself, and my note is, whoa, you should ask first. Like, you should ask first. It's not bad. I think that all men should be more open to penetration. That's not a decision you should make for someone else. Just because you want to doesn't mean you get to. Oh, my note is, that's called baggage. The one time I'd acted selfishly, carelessly, I'd gotten Sansa pregnant. He shows up at the diner to win her back because he does a dumb thing and says, you should stand as the nanny and not because, you know, he likes her. So she was going to go back to Chicago and rebuild her life and try out for the Rockettes and blah, blah, blah. So this is him running to the diner where she's waiting to leave to grovel. Ari is the little sister's best friend. Sorry, Roni. He texted me a few minutes ago begging to talk to you. He played the big brother card. I had to tell him where you were. Then she pointed at Austin. Don't make me sorry, Austin. This better be a good grovel. It is. And that's it. Those are the only things that I highlighted. And I don't mean that because it was a bad book. It was very sweet. Is it the best small town romance I've ever read? No. Is it a bad small town romance? Not at all. If you like small town romance, I think this is a really sweet book. If you like age gap, if you like single dad nanny, there are a lot of things going for this book. I guess just not a lot of things that were memorable to me. The last book I read was Crave by Evelyn Sola. This might be one of the messiest books that I have read. And I mean family drama messy, everyone behaving badly. It's just so much mess. And that made it slightly unpleasant because while I understood why people were acting, why Jacob, the MMC, was acting badly, it didn't paint him in a good light. And part of his arc is letting go of his old feelings to move forward with the FMC, who is Sandy. I get it. It just was unpleasant at times to witness the bad behavior. Sandy is the FMC. She is a nurse, but her mother owns a bakery and has a client she is delivering a cake to and asks Sandy to deliver the cake to this big party. They're a very wealthy client. They're hosting a birthday party for the matriarch of this family. Sandy delivers the cake. The matriarch meets her and says, oh no, you have to stay. I'm going to introduce you to my son's best friend. He's basically like another son because Sandy is black and her son Jacob's best friend is also black, and she basically, anytime she meets a black woman, tries to set up her doctor fake son. So Sandy is roped into attending this party where she meets Jacob, the MMC, the son of this family, and Jacob falls for her almost immediately. He sees her and thinks, mine, she's mine, and pursues her. And that was the other thing. He's so physical with her right away. He touches her body, he touches her collarbones, her shoulder. Like, boundaries, sir. You didn't ask. She didn't say yes. Like, just felt really creepy to me. Just so intense in a way that I did not jive with. And at this birthday party, Jacob's brother appears with his wife, whose name's I don't remember. I'll look at my notes later. And he ends up in a brawl with his brother. It is so ridiculous. He says nasty things to his brother about his sister-in-law. You immediately get the feeling that stuff has gone down between them. It's not pleasant. I don't enjoy it. Sandy runs away. Jacob finds her, tries to beg for a second chance. At the date he sets up, instead brings his friend that his mom was going to set her up with at the beginning and says, you should go on a date. And then crazily waits for them in the fucking parking lot and gets mad when they have a date and begs for another chance. Sandy's like, I gave you a chance. This was your chance. What are you doing? Somehow he convinces her to spend time with him again. And they get along, but there's this looming drama of his family. So it turns out that Jacob was dating this woman, and she and his brother then started dating and fell in love. She was cheating on Jacob with the brother, and they got married, and it caused a big rift in the family. And I get that. That's awful. You betrayed your brother, and it's less about the sister-in-law and more about the betrayal from his brother, which I get. I don't know how you come back from that. but the nastiness that he expresses towards his sister-in-law and towards his brother is so unappealing and is way too much, just absolutely not called for. So there's lots of family drama around this and around that relationship and how it broke the family and how people want them to get together. Jacob's mom is firmly on his side. His dad tries to play neutral and the little brother is on the older brothers. It's such an ungodly mess. My other note is these two fuck a lot. And this book is so long that I couldn't give it more than I think a 3 on the spice scale. Let me check. Yeah, I gave it a 3 on the spice scale only because this book is really long, but my note is they fuck a lot. In the end, these two somehow make it work. No, he doesn't make her better at all. He just really adores her and realizes that if he wants to be worthy of her and be a good partner for her, then he has to let go of that drama and he can't hold on to that anger. That anger is not something that she wants to be around. It's not something that she wants in her life. I get it. But it was so messy. I don't know if Evelyn Sola does mess all the time. I don't know if it's constant mess. A friend of mine likes a different series of hers, so I might try that. There are also a bunch of these available in audiobook form that I might go through. I don't know. He was not my favorite MMC. I don't know if I feel like he really deserves her, because he a hot mess, and some of that behavior to me is just not forgivable. It's not stuff that I'd want to have around long term. I don't know if I mentioned that it's BWWM, but it is. Page 16. Now I get to have you all to myself. He reaches over and strokes my crazy wild hair, putting a piece behind my ear. I pull back from his touch, but he's unfazed. My note is, don't touch her hair. The next page, he reaches forward and traces a finger along my collarbone. I'm unable to breathe. My note, these touches are intense. This is page 17. Yeah, and he just says such cruel things to his sister-in-law that I can't. I get it, you're hurt and that sucks, but I don't like the words you're using. Sounds like you two had a connection, Tash, Sandy's sister, says, her focus back to me. I thought so too. I even agreed to see him again, but then the shit hit the fan, and some of the things he said to his sister-in-law were downright disgusting. He has a mean streak, and I don't do mean. Don't do mean. And this is, Jacob, you need to, If I stop, I'll think about last night. If I think about last night, I might have to admit I went too far. And that's the last thing I want to do. My note, but you should. And this is when everything's revealed. My brother can steal my girlfriend. They can cheat on me behind my back. They can run off and get married in secret. They can hide their first pregnancy for months. And I'm the one who's supposed to turn my life around so I can accept their betrayal? Wait, though. They didn't get married in secret, did they? You and Mom not only knew about it, but you attended, didn't you? I get it. It's not cool. It's not a good situation. But there's so much anger and resentment and bitterness in this man. If only he knew that I've never finished with a man. I've come close, but sadly never finished. I don't not believe her, but that's a trope. They get in a fight and he name calls. You're just a judgmental brat. I'm not okay with the name calling. My note, sir, you give me the ick. This is what he says in his point of view. I'm Jacob Clark. I want what I want and I won't stop until I get it. Until a few years ago, I had the perfect life. Everything I've ever wanted has been handed to me on a silver platter. Some would say that I'm spoiled and entitled, unable to take no for an answer. Some would think that those are bad attributes, but I don't. I'm tenacious, determined, persevering, persistent, never willing to give up. Those are the traits that I'll need to use today. I don't know. I think this is his friend, and I like this. What do you mean it's too late? It's been less than a week, and if she'd pick up the phone or answer my text, we could have cleared this up 6 days ago. You don't get to play the victim card, Jacob. Nope, you're bad behavior. You don't get to play the victim. How could you think that I don't want you, D? He calls her D. How could I think that? Your actions, Jacob. What else? This is after he agrees to go on a date with her for a second chance and then brings his best friend. These are insults back and forth because you're crazier than a loon. You have more baggage than American Airlines. I don't like insults. And my note is, this is not how you landed. I'm not going to read this because it's not safe for work, but it starts with, he spins me around the room before we fall on my bed with me on top. One sentence later, he blah, 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 with such vigor that I arch my back into the mattress. You're on top. You can't do that. He's a good dog dad, though. That's it. Those are my only notes. It's a lot of mess. I don't like Jacob. I like that he decides to grow, but I do find the name calling and his judgments to be just unattractive and unappealing for me. And that's everything that I read from May 5th to 11th. Let me know in the comments what you read, if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them. Like and subscribe to make sure that you get notified when I post the next What I Read video. And until next time, this is Jace, holding space for you.